guys, Roop here. Today we're going to be discussing the DC universe, the state of DC films going into the future, the Justice League itself, the characters that are involved in the upcoming films, and just the feel of the franchise in general at the moment. So obviously we've got a new venture with Joss Whedon. He's going to be directing, I believe, the new Justice Leagues. Hopefully they'll keep him on board for an obvious Justice League 2. I'm just going to give you a bit of prep before the film comes out Friday. Hopefully I'll begin to see the film and I'll give you my thoughts on that when it comes out. Should be, I would say, next weekend. I'll get the video out. But I just want this to be like a real quick and easy feel into the films. So the state of DC at the moment, I'd say that if you look at their competitors with Marvel at the moment, I feel like the Marvel franchises have superiority over DC at the moment. It's with the fact that they've launched their films a lot smarter, I think, compared to DC. So they have segregated films that have allowed story to come out on each hero before they have this big, huge mashup. And the launching of doing the movies slowly over time has let you get attached to characters. Whereas I feel like the DC characters have kind of been shoehorned into, let's get a Justice League movie out as fast as possible because look at how well Marvel's done. That's not a discredit to DC. Obviously they've got to compete with Marvel and try and get their superhero collaboration going. So I feel that that's just a slight weakness as DC's moving forward into this this latter half of films that they're going to be doing. Obviously, when you have segregated films like Marvel have, the heroes have their own time. They have their own spirit shows through in the films, and then once that translates back into a big blockbuster, let's all get them together, you have prior information for how you're going to regard each character. So it's a lot easier to watch a group of individuals come together because you've got background knowledge on them already. I think that's going to be very difficult to overcome, and I'm hoping that they do that in this film. I've heard feedback from early reviews that the strongest part of the movie is the characters, and I hope that's the case because it will allow the viewer to become immersed in the movie and ultimately make for a better set of films, hopefully in the future. I think the tone of the new Justice Leagues and the latter films that they're going to be making will feel very familiar, as if you're a Marvel fan. Joss Whedon's obviously, he's extremely engrossed in that universe and ingrained in what they are doing at the moment in terms of humour, tonality in the movies, pacing in the movies. Hopefully his experience with Marvel will push DC to really rival them. So we get better movies off of each company as they're released. A bit of competition never hurts, does it? So yeah, I'm hoping that's a brighter future for DC than what we've seen in the past. They kicked off the franchise obviously with Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was pretty good for all the flack that it got. I mean, it took quite a lot of flack early on, and I think as as time's gone by, you've kind of appreciated what they tried to do with this new Superman. It's not a perfect film, but it was the perfect Superman movie to kick this world off, and I think that I'm enjoying from the trailers at least, seeing the counterplay between how serious Batman and Superman are compared to the Flash that they're bringing in, and the small pockets of humour that Wonder Woman brings. Yeah, Aquaman looks pretty cool as well, you've got to say. So in terms of bringing them through as a group, I'm hoping that Joss Whedon effect rubs off and we get as close to, dare I say it, an Avengers team for DC as we can get. There's obvious comparisons between the two worlds and the characters because they've been vying in the comics for years, trying to upmanship each other, but hopefully, like I said before, the rivalry makes for better movies and better viewing experiences for us. Obviously Batman vs Superman wasn't amazing, because they tried to push so many things into one movie that it ended up spoiling the movie for me. Yeah, screwing around with the movie, and it wasn't as good as it should have been. Obviously, aside to the DC universe in Gotham is Suicide Squad. That didn't get a great reception either. That felt a bit clunky for a movie too. The writing wasn't 100% in the movie. I think the tone was there in the film. It's just some things can feel a bit flat. If you have two misses in movies and it's a franchise, it can make the whole franchise feel flat, and that's kind of what Suicide Squad did, because the trailers look amazing, and I think we wanted what we was watching in the trailers to be what we saw as a whole. You have a movement from Justice League into from Suicide Squad into Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman has saved the franchise, I think, for most people. DC have been flying on the back of Wonder Woman, and I hope that Wonder Woman continues to get the support that it was given originally. It's interesting that the move from Zack Snyder is happening right after Wonder Woman, because it's just started picking DC back up, and maybe if he'd been given time, obviously, things came around and it made it very difficult for him to continue with the movies. But I think the state of play going into Wonder Woman might have had a bit of a turnaround for him, because the guy, Zack Snyder's visuals are fantastic. Everybody knows that about the guy. It's just some of the other elements that make for a great film were slightly lacking in the early part of the DC franchises, and Wonder Woman really reinvigorated the franchise for DC. I'm hoping that Joss Whedon, he'll continue where Wonder Woman left off and put his feel into Justice League and take it up to the next level, because really, as a fan favour and comic fans, we want to see those fantastic archetypes, those fantastic heroes that we look up to on screen, and we want to see driven emotion with great writing, and that's all that's all fans are waiting for from DC. Hopefully they'll provide that. I am really looking forward to going to see Justice League, and I'm sure my Justice League video will be huge. Really long, because I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Hopefully, from the feedback anyway, from what I've heard of the film, it's going to be good. Yes, so to summarise, the franchise as a whole has struggled so far, and we're all hoping that the films that are coming will turn DC around and make DC the forefront of comic movie brilliance, like, you know, competing with Marvel and just giving us the heroes that we've always loved. I've always been a Batman fan from an early age. I'm sure many of you are, and it would be great to see another amazing Batman set of films. I don't know where Ben Affleck is with that. I don't know where his age comes into it. That's not me being prejudiced to his age, but if you read the comics for what has inspired these set of Batman vs Superman movies, it's very Frank Miller related in the comics, and by that point Bruce Wayne is in his late 50s, and that's where we've got this older Batman from, this older Ben Affleck. So obviously moving him forward, how long is his Batman going to continue? We'll have to wait and see. I think he's done a great job with the character, and overall I'm just hoping that we get some heroes that we love and we can carry on watching. I hope to see you in the next review, the next talk. I know this hasn't been much of a review because obviously the movie hasn't come out, but I just wanted to prep you guys ready for a big DC review that I'm going to be doing, and I hope you guys are all keeping well. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks a lot.